I talk on this program to Daniel Wild from the Institute of Public Affairs every Thursday. They're unapologetic in their defence, against the odds, I might add, of our freedoms. Their then Executive Director, John Roscombe, who Fred Paul will be interviewing tomorrow night about this, got in touch with Zoe and assisted in running a donation page to pay for the 2 years of legal expense. John Roscombe was present last Tuesday when the Victorian police withdrew the charges at the Magistrates Court in Ballarat, proving that Victorian police were doing things they never should have done in Daniel Andrews' Victoria. Zoe had finally made Victorians realise they were on your own. The establishment, police, politicians and the media was silent. It took 2 years for Zoe's case to come to court. Victoria Police withdrew the case without offering any explanation whatsoever other than it was not in the public interest to pursue the case. So in a Victoria run by Daniel Andrews, with massive approval ratings, Victoria Police and the Andrews government can charge an individual with, quote, serious criminal offence and then drop the charges and later claim it's not in the public interest? As Chetna Mahadik from the IPA has asked, how can prosecuting a serious criminal offence not be in the public interest unless it was not a serious criminal offence in the first place? Unquote. The media reported on Zoe's charges being dropped, but not a single news media has called for an inquiry into how it has come to this, which prompts the question, is this the new norm for Victoria and Australia? As Zoe said, standing before the Ballarat Magistrates Court last week, I have no regrets. I'm glad I stood up for people's human rights and freedom, unquote. It should be pointed out that the whole machinery of human rights in Australia, including the Australian Human Rights Commission, with a budget of about $30 million, could not put out a media release supporting Zoe and her right to free speech, her right to protest, her right to free movement, and her right to protection from cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment. All those rights are enshrined in the Charter for Human Rights. But as Chetna Mahadik from the IPA, Institute of Public Affairs, has said, I tried to see who among our leading career activists and bureaucrats, lawyers and politicians put out a strong statement against the violations of human rights or that of the millions of other Victorians who lost their right to free movement for months on end, with the exception of David Limbrick of the Liberal Democratic Party. I couldn't find any. Can anyone seriously suggest that what I have been talking about, the Great Reset, where the nation's values and democratic structures are being stood on the head? My thoughts are with Zoe Buhler, a then 28-year-old pregnant woman who is a living metaphor of the mess we're in. I'll have more to say about Daniel Andrews later in the week.